Let's see. Well, no, I don't see any attendees yet. And I've got, before I shut down my email, I had a couple of people I know that looked like it was getting on. Oh, here we go. We got some people joining us. All right. So everybody that is joining us now, thank you. We do wait a couple of minutes to get these webinars started because we understand that people have technology issues like I had earlier in the day, and are finishing up calls. So we're going to wait just probably around to 2:02, 2:03 time frame, and then we'll get everything started. So please just hold patiently. And if you have any questions or you need to put something through the chat feature, that is being monitored, so you can put some information there as well if you're having any kind of technical issues you need some support on. So just hang tight for a couple minutes and we'll get started. Again, for those that are joining, we're here. We are live for Tara's third Thursday webinar. We were just holding out to wait for any stragglers that have any difficulty logging on or finishing up phone calls or that sort of thing. So just please remain patient, and we'll be starting this in just about a minute. Okay. All right. Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Stephen Napoli with Tara, and welcome to Tara's third Thursday webinar this month. It is the third Thursday. We appreciate everyone to join us last month, actually on our fourth Thursday. That is very atypical. We'll try to keep this thing going. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We'd like to especially welcome all of our Tara members who get these monthly webinars as part of their membership. Welcome. We've also got, I know they'll be joining us today, several guests and non-members that will be participating in this as well this month. The title of today's presentation is called Creating a Sustainable and Compliant Battery Recycling Program. It is hosted by one of your members, our certified recycler, Battery Solutions. The format of these, as always, is just 45 quick minutes, action-packed minutes, with a brief period of Q&A at the end. So you'll notice that in your control panel, you have an area that is listed for questions and for chat. You can use either one. I'll be moderating that during the course of the presentation. And at the end, if time allows, I'll be asking Danielle the questions that you all have posed. But before I introduce Danielle, our speaker today, I'd like to just say a few words about Battery Solutions, our sponsor. R2 Certified Battery Solutions serves environmentally conscious corporations, governments, and municipalities, and households across the country. They provide cost-effective, fully managed battery recycling kits, systems, and bulk recycling solutions. They accept and recycle all battery chemistries and offer an array of handling services to satisfy their customer needs while fully complying with government regulations. They are committed to best practices, innovation, transparency, and provide peace of mind so that on all the items that they are recycling, make sure that they're done in the highest standards. Today, we've got presenting on their behalf, Danielle Spalding, who is the Vice President of Marketing and Digital Engagement. She is a skilled marketer with over 15 years of experience in the industry, experience in digital platforms and customer experience. She's worked with large, iconic, and challenging brands. She elevates the brand experience and the customers and the teams that are involved with them. She bridges the gap of targeted strategy with compelling creative solutions to bring campaigns to life and knows the power of an integrated marketing approach. She has a passion for sustainability, and she holds an MBA in international business and has been with Battery Solutions for a little over 2.5 years. So with that introduction, Danielle, thank you for presenting today, and I will turn the meeting over to you.
All right, thank you. Really appreciate it. I super excited to be here today. I know for many of you, it has probably been a crazy week, and really a crazy month. We are back into the conferences season. So if any of you have been to conferences this month or the battery show, for example, this week, we appreciate you guys taking the few minutes out of your day to join us. I love what I do. And I think it's really because we're able to create that impact into sustainability. So happy to share a lot today. Steve already gave the introduction, but my name is Danielle. You can call me Daniel, Dan, D, whatever works. It's fine. If you put in the chat, a single letter, that's fine. We'll still be able to work it through. We've been part of Terra for a little bit now, and we believe that they're doing really amazing stuff. So, please always stay tuned to what's going on overall within the organization because, I think that they're really breaking through in the art, especially promoting the R2 approach within the recycling world. For those of you that don't know us, we wanted just to let you guys know. So we are actually the North American leader in sustainable end-to-end management solutions for batteries. We're actually located here in Michigan. So we really focus specifically in that ESG space overall. We believe that companies, not only with a purpose, but also with a transparency and traceability, are critical to be able to help support this growing industry right now. For us, again, we've actually been around for quite a bit. Battery Solutions has been here 30 years. I've been here about 2.5, as Steve said. And we have this large national footprint, even with our headquarters in Michigan and a West Coast facility in Mesa, Arizona. Now, for us, we are battery centric and we're able to provide this unparalleled ability to be battery centric with both our logistics and our service capabilities. And we're really here to complement the efforts and the services that so many of the other teams on this call and part of Terra organization do. For us, it's about providing solutions, whether those are extensive or complex, across any location. And we are the destination in the US for battery recycling knowledge. If there is a team out there that's talking about battery recycling, then it is a good chance, right, that we've definitely connected to provide training. And we're really proud of that. We want to be able to share and educate and be able to help everyone be more safe and put batteries in a bigger part of what you guys are doing. And we're here to help support you do that. And batteries are in everything that we do, from our cars, right, with electric vehicles that are coming out. They're critical in environmental services, actually, telecommunications with battery backup, and stationary power, healthcare, they're running machines, military, and more. So we really do, any industry honestly supports batteries. And, I think the question, we're going to jump into the question right now, right? Like, let's just say, why battery recycling? And for us, it's not just that batteries are part of each industry, but they power our everyday. And from the watches that we wear to the cell phones, right, that we use, it comes down to the idea that batteries are enabling technology for us to make enhancements and evolution into a new type of world that will help enhance our ability to be more sustainable and reduce the need for other minerals that were out there. And we love that, right? That batteries can now create a small electronic that will last longer, or it allows our cars to go farther. And now what we look at for this battery recycling is that they come in every place, whether you're a electronic waste, if you're an environmental service team that takes everything, you are now getting batteries. You probably have been getting batteries for a while, but what to do with them. The other thing that we always want to be able to note here is that we want people to understand that customers, that we work with and our partners have expectations that, one company will handle all universal waste, but batteries are very different than electronics. And we'll get into some of those in a little bit right here. For us, we think about the reasons to recycle batteries. And look, there are going to be the sustainability minded, approach that I never want to get away from, but there's also a real benefit to the business. And that is that, first and foremost, even what you're offering now today, you can expand, right? There are customer expectations and service offering needs that your customers have, and that if you're servicing them now, you can expand those offerings. And or if you're not offering them now, then this is a great time to start. There are also these embedded batteries and electronics, which is a huge thing now, and they're only becoming more apparent within the marketplace. There's research and development of equipment and materials, and a lot of those have batteries in them that need to be recycled. There could be an excess inventory if there's new items that are going to be recycled because they need to make new space for what's coming out. There's damaged and defective as well as recalled batteries. And that's not just batteries, but also devices. So when we think about recalls for cell phones or cars or any of those types of things, those items have batteries in them, and they should be thoughtful on how we're going to approach that. Also, sustainability efforts. Now, I'm sure that most of you have sustainability goals in mind, or you're trying to support those efforts with your customers. Here's the news. Batteries hold a significant component in sustainability efforts, because dealing with one battery recycling program can reach almost 10 of the UN sustainability goals out of their 17. And batteries are so impactful when you recycle them that you're able to jumpstart entire streams within the supply chain. So sustainability efforts are a big reason too that we want to help expand battery recycling by supporting you. Now, let's talk though a little bit more about the benefits for companies on why they want to start and expanding their battery recycling. Well, look, simply doing it, you can just help support and expand program offerings for the organization or supplement what you're doing now. So when we think about it, it not only helps demonstrate environmental commitment, right? So if you're not a battery recycler, you don't have to be, right? You've got teams like us and other ones out there to help support you. And this is, while we're always here and we're going to say, yes, we're willing to help, there are many teams out there. And our goal as an organization at Battery Solutions is to say, we are a sustainability organization, and that is our focus. We are here to help increase the recycling rates. And that is what we want to do. And if you need to do that in a way that works best for you, let's do it, right? Let's find that way. But we want to make sure that you're getting the credit too, so you can help expand that environmental commitment. It's the expanded program and service offerings to your customers to help provide more of a one-stop solution for you. It's fully traceable with recycling options. Again, that R2, right? Amazing, amazing focus that the Terra Group has. And community presence. When you recycle batteries within the community, you become a name as a resource. You're expanding your brand recognition. And this isn't to say that, you're going to do, everyday collections or monthly collections even, but even just to say, guys, I am another option for you. I have a solution for you because I know that, there's only so much collection within my community. You can also drop them off here. But there are so many program approaches you can take. So let's go through a few, right? Just to identify some of those to start recycling your batteries more. And don't worry, I'm being thoughtful. We want to make sure that we get you guys out early. So we'll make sure to get through everything here in a good, timely manner. Now, for us, had to make sure my slide changed, guys. Okay, and I'm gonna get a little water as we go into our partner program. So our partner program is something where it is absolutely a turnkey approach. This is one of those where you set it up and you almost don't even have to touch it. It allows you to order, collect, and then ship your batteries directly to your battery recycling team. Now, you can adapt this to be anything, right? So if we're talking that you're doing bulk recycling right now, right? And if you know that there is embedded batteries and you're not quite sure how to deal with them, or you're kind of trying to take them out by hand, you can actually just collect those and ship them directly to your recycler. Or if you're finding that you need a solution for smaller quantities, then you can do a kit collection or a small quantity collection. And in that, you can actually collect multiple chemistries of batteries, and there's no additional recycling steps that are needed to be done. So we'll talk about that too, and even a little bit more. But what the partner programs do, and again, whether it's us or anyone else, it allows you to have minimal touch points. And those minimal touch points allows you to be able to say, guys, we're gonna go ahead and collect and then ship directly, right? So that partner is gonna handle everything from distribution, right? Of, let's say, those small container kits, to the logistical support to help go ahead and collect those batteries on the site that you need for your customer, all while supporting you and your efforts. It's important to look at the companies, though, when you're partnering, that they should have something when you're looking at partner programs, is this project management side, right? Do they have logistical support within their current teams, or are they kind of pushing that out to third party? If you need disassembly, so I'm gonna say embedded batteries here so many times, but also it's not just about embedded batteries, but it's about large format batteries that may need to be disassembled. And this could be anything from in the, stationary power to transportation industry. And again, fully traceable. I know you already know that, but I'm going to say it quite a bit. And then how do they handle the recycling? What's processed there? What's not? How are you approaching this? What is then the auditing process for those teams that are processing material? And training. Training is so important when we talk about batteries, because battery safety is at the forefront of what we do. And it should be at the forefront, anyone does. We'll talk about safety here in a couple of slides in a little bit to help provide some ideas for you. But making sure that the teams are actually trained in more specifically battery safety is critical, as the amount of batteries within the market, especially at end of life, are going to continuously grow exponentially. Now, we talk about this partner program, but there's also the option to do collect and sorting programs. This means that if you don't already, you can actually do the collection, which I'm sure you have some already started, but you can also do some sorting of batteries at your facility and then send them on to recycling. Now, want to make a note, is that when you then begin to sort batteries at your facility, there's a few key things. So if you take nothing else away and you're sorting batteries, please take this away. And that is that not only do you want that dedicated space for sorting, right? And there needs to be some sort of specialized storage, which again, we'll talk about storage here in just a couple of little slides, but they need to be trained in battery identification. And specifically damage recognition for batteries. So a damaged battery does not always look what they say it's going to be. It's not this, the easy examples are this huge swollen batteries, or it's smoking, or, or it's like disformed in some way. But damaged batteries actually, in a lot of ways, they could just be just the tiniest bit loaded. They could just be, one little ding in the wrong place. So if you're sorting these, at hundreds of pounds an hour, like we do here, being trained is critical. And the other thing, and this is the one I was mentioning about being critical to, if you take nothing else away, is work with your recycler on how they categorize their battery chemistries. Meaning, if you are sorting your batteries into multiple types, some teams are going to just say, here's my lithium and then here's my everything else. And if you're trying to sort, this might mean you're going to say, here's my lithium, here's my NiCad, here's my alkaline. If you're trying to get down to that level, please partner with your battery recycler, because they might be doing chemistries, right, when they're sorting differently than the way you do. So when you send them in, you might not actually be aligned. And that will affect your pricing. That will affect, how we're able to then do transport. So think about that, because if you're going to do this sorting, make sure you talk about, where those are going in your next line to ensure that all of those categories and how you're actually sorting those matches up, because you want to be able to get the best value for that effort of sorting. But again, sorting does take more effort, right? And it's going to be a little bit more investment on your part. So you can always, get something that is a partner program approach, and you can also quote out the collect and sorting program approach with your team to see, what might work best for you. And you want to, again, very similar to what before, like, look for program management. Even when you're collecting and sorting, you want your recycler to be able to support, right, any program needs that you have coming in. That logistical, and again, battery-centric logistical support. That's the critical key here, is that, we can all send out in a lot of ways different types of material, but batteries especially, right, are quite unique in themselves. Disassembly, if you're still going to send over materials that need to be disassembled, fully traceable, again, where are they going to be recycled, what's the efficiency rates, and then that training option, especially in this case, that training option is going to be needed. And the last one here is, thinking about this battery recycling mail back program, meaning, if you have a customer that is trying to do collection for batteries or electronic devices, what is that mail back program? And Tara has a fantastic option that's used for, especially households and some bigger businesses. But if you're looking specifically for batteries too, think about this, where if you do this mail back kit program and you offer this as a solution, a product solution to your customer, you're expanding your service offerings, you're offering a solution to them, and you want to make sure, though, it is going to be friendly, right? That your customers can order online, that they don't have to worry about what they put into that. Meaning, are they going to have a special permit allowing for the commingling of multiple dry cell chemistries into one container? And is it all in one? Once they get it, are they able just to return it through a common carrier, or are they going to have to go ahead and collect everything, right, on a pallet and do, something fully regulated? The other side is that if you have damaged batteries that maybe you didn't accept before, right? Like maybe you said, guys, like, look, batteries are not my core focus, okay? I'm not looking to accept damaged batteries. Well, working with a battery recycler allows you to say, I may not deal with it, but I can provide a solution for my customer because my partner, right, has given me one. And again, that allows you then to expand those solutions to your customers. Think about co-branding. Think about, putting your name on those recycling kits. Think about making a more formalized employee recycling program. We say this a lot, but for us, I bring my batteries into work, right? But think about the sustainability efforts and the communication you get to then do in your sustainability report and your annual report on how many batteries you as a company are recycling, right? If you formalize that just a little bit, then you're going to really be able to say, guys, like, we are making such an impact both internally and externally, and that connects your company more strongly to ESG. And again, think about those kits, right? Like UN approved container, prepaid shipping, prepaid battery recycling, and you want to get that confirmation of reclamation of that things have been recycled. Again, traceability is key. Now, I want to talk about safe storage for a second. We've done this a little bit with regards to mentioning the storage, but I'm going to bring up lithium batteries. We're all thinking about it, right? We all are going to say that, lithium batteries are the topic within the news and media. And you can see, and this is an actual picture of an actual fire. And there have been many fires, unfortunately, recently, especially with regards to lithium batteries. Not just within buildings, but within the environmental service teams when they're actually just doing collection pickup of curbside programs, and trucks are catching on fire, all the way to the material recovery facilities are having instances because of lithium ion batteries. And so safe storage of your batteries is going to be key. So part of this, and these are recommendations, guys, so please take that as what it is we just want to help provide the safest environment for you and your teams. And one thing we think about especially is always the damaged batteries, which will have a higher risk of a thermal runaway event. So for safe storage, let's say of damaged batteries, right? First and foremost, place them in a container with fire suppression. If you're going to have some sort of fire suppressant material, that's where your batteries need to go. And if you've got questions on that, you let us know. I think there's a couple of companies out there that are doing a great job in this forefront. The other thing is that, areas where if you're going to do the sorting, if your lithium batteries are there, they should be equipped with Class D fire extinguishers. Now, I'm going to say it even though I'm sure you know it, lithium fires cannot be put out with water. You need to have a Class D fire extinguisher. And if you're going to be doing this, employees that are expected to react to those lithium ion fires, they need to be trained on how to use the extinguishers, right? Because typically what you find is that they're actually, instead of red, they're yellow, they're much bigger, they're heavier, right? And you want to be able to know how to handle that particular extinguisher in those circumstances. A dry chemical or foam extinguishers, those can also be used. But again, it's not going to be some sort of like standard water or something that's going to be able to put this out. The main thing that water does in a lithium ion battery fire is it just helps cool down the batteries around it and hopes not to help create a chain reaction. So it's meant to hopefully keep the only battery that is currently in a runaway event to that unit and hopefully does not catch. Now, the proper storage does help prevent damage or further damage to batteries. So store in well-ventilated areas, guys. I'm sure all have warehouses and we've got a lot of different storage spaces, but make sure it's a well-ventilated area. And it should not be kept in extreme heat, right? Between 40 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit and away from direct sunlight or heat sources. So if you got heaters somewhere that are coming through, please make sure you do not store your batteries there. And of course, it's on the extreme, not a lot of heat, not a lot of coolness either. So we don't want to do freezing temperatures. Protect the terminals. And when we say this, it's not just, it sounds simple just to tape these terminals, but it's an extra step the team has to do because you want to prevent the terminals from touching. And whether it's using cardboard or corrugate in between that you see in this picture, we want to make sure that those are really kept separate. Now, the other thing about lithium battery storage is that we did some of the do's, let's do some of the don'ts even more. Try to avoid mixing with other battery chemistry types because lithium and then other battery chemistry types really can interact with each other. And we want to ensure that we go through and remove the ability for any of those, again, thermal runaway events, and especially multi-chemistry thermal runaway events. Store loosely. Do not pack these guys in, right? Don't try to make the efficiency in there. You want to make sure you've got cushy material and or enough space. You want to allow those batteries to get wet if there was an event, right? We talked about water being able to go through. Store, and vehicles, we talked about this. Don't do this. Please don't. Please don't do it. Store in areas with wide temperature fluctuation. Nope. And store in hot areas. Please don't do this. These are critical that if you're mixing and if you're not allowing them to be able to get access to things, that's important. But if you're also, like I mentioned about getting the batteries wet, I talked about having the space to get to the water. But if you're also at your sprinkler is hitting, with your open door, an area, right, where batteries are at, that's an issue because again, that can create things. We get off we get asked often to take batteries that have been submerged in a salt mixture of some kind, and that actually does affect the battery. And there's a lot more to do with those batteries just before they can even be processed. While there's no specific requirement for distances, between a DDR battery and other ones, just try, right? Do your best. Keep them far away from each other. Again, you want to be able to avoid any potential events. Thermal imaging. So this thermal imaging is something that we do. We do it in every load. We do it every day, actually. We do thermal imaging of our facility every day, and every load that's going out, any load that's coming in, because it will actually help monitor the temperatures of things to ensure and help support any variances that may happen. And then again, anything with regards to liability. Have an ample fire extinguishers present, right? And it's not just that, but if you think about if a fire begins and you've got to run somewhere, right, to go get that extinguisher, it's got to be within seconds, right? So think about that in that instance. And keep an area available. We always call it like a secure burn zone or something, but it just means that if you can designate an area that is away, if a battery is smoky, not in flames, right? But if you see that something is occurring and that battery could safely be taken and left out just to run its course, it sounds interesting, but that is actually one of the ways to be able to do that to help ensure that things don't happen around. Now, with all of that, one more sip of water, guys, but the question is what to look for in your recycling partner, right? Everyone on this call, I have no doubt, especially if you had registered through Terra, is you're all well educated within this area overall about certifications. So the first thing I'm going to say when you're talking about trying to find your battery recycling partner, or if you want to expand your service offerings with your current battery recycler, think about these questions. Think about their certifications, of course, R2. But it's not just because, we believe that it really is truly the optimal, right, and superior product when it comes to traceability and compliance. But, think about how you want reporting. Think about what it means to you when we talk about certifications. RIOS, fantastic, right? The Recycling Industry Operating Standard. ISOs are great, but the responsible recycling certificates, right? Those are dedicated to our industry because they are what is going to ensure that it incorporates ISO requirements, right? For example, but specific to what our needs are. So please think about that. I'll keep going now. Expertise in logistical regulatory compliance of batteries. Please work with a battery-centric logistics team if you're transporting just batteries, or even if you just have a partial load of batteries. A lot of this is they should be hazmat certified, right? No question about it. If we're thinking about the International Maritime Dangerous Goods, IMDG, it was developed to ensure, that the hull of these dangerous goods and packages, are specific to the individual substances and materials that are actually in that container. We think about the international air transport. Now, what people need to remember is that most batteries, right, especially at end of life, aren't going to be transported via air. There are some exceptions. We can absolutely go through those in detail. If you've got questions, chat them. We'll be happy to, talk about them. But, there is a lot of requirements around batteries and lithium batteries specifically. And when we talk about large format, we'll talk about fully regulated as well. And then HAZWOPER certified. You hear hazmat all the time, and that's very critical. But then the HAZWOPER is about the cleanup, right? It's about if there was an incident or a minor spill that needs to be taken care of, you want a HAZWOPER certified staff because they've got strict guidelines and training to be able to help ensure, right, that safe workplace overall. So think about those as you go through, and think about some key questions, right? You know, when you're thinking about what should I talk to about my battery recycler, why am I attending this conversation? It's, if nothing else, ask these, right? What is the recycling efficiency for the battery chemistry, right, that I am sending to you, right? We want to get the most out of it. Do you provide hazmat compliant logistics? Is the disassembly performed on site or by a third party? And then traceability of each battery throughout the process. So, you know, it's not just about the single battery, right? Even if it's a household battery, what happens if it's an electric vehicle or a stationary power battery? What about all the components of that? You know, how long do you keep your records for? What certifications do you have? What does the supply chain security look like? Are you able to, you know, ensure that these things are recycled right away, or do we have to wait and keep them on my site? And we always recommend to go ahead and get rid of your lithium batteries as quickly as possible, or in any of the batteries, right? That's part of the safety, is actually the less time you keep them on, right, then the less of a potential event. You want to leverage the best price of what, right? Are you giving me the best price because you have multiple teams that you're working with, or is that you only process this one thing and that's the only price we're going to get? You know, and that goes with the technology. Technology is a fantastic, amazing, wonderful thing, and there are so many companies out there that are doing great things with technology right now in battery recycling. It is honestly, it is a completely different place than it was even 2 years ago. And the technology that's coming into the market is just phenomenal. But think about, you know, are you always going to have to follow this one, or are you going to be able to leverage the best one at the time? And, you know, the other thing we always talk about with our recyclers is, you know, guys, when we talk about this, the world is ever changing, and sustainability has absolutely become the forefront for individuals and corporations. So when we think sustainability, don't just think about the partner, but think that the fact that we're part of the social and economic shift that are creating new solutions that support the environment, businesses, and the future generations. You know, the impact that we have, especially within battery recycling, allows us to put critical minerals back into that value chain for customers. Because the reality is that demand is going to outlast the supply. You know, with lithium, again, I bring this up because it's the hottest topic, but in 2021, right, there was 26,000 tons of lithium that was going to be extracted. And that's expected to grow to 1.1 million tons by 2030. 1.1 million tons. So if we can support, right, the ability to say that we're going to be able to start extracting more, because we're going to increase these recycling rates by working together, then we'll be able to help support that demand. And it's not just lithium, nickel. Do you know that batteries make up 5%? 5% of nickel mined go to batteries. Nickel is one of the most important metal in the modern infrastructure that we have. Woo, that was a lot of M's, guys. And, you know, I think this is always a fun fact. I love to compare like how much things move and what things are, but for every metric ton of nickel mined, there's 1,500 metric tons of earth moved. That's the equivalent of 316 elephants. And it changes the landscape of the entire area that it's worked on. So we think about the impact that virgin mining has. And if we leverage then the ability to recycle more batteries and extract these materials and put them back into the supply chain, we would be unstoppable. And we look at this because alkaline's a fantastic, and we say superb, but it's the illustration of a circular economy. Alkaline batteries dominated, right, the market in 2010. And honestly, they still really do, right? But with alkaline processing, and, you know, we do this on site. So this is our process, but, you know, we get in alkaline and zinc carbon. We're able to process this through a completely mechanical approach, no added chemicals, no water waste, right? It's energy efficient, zero emissions. It's got a compact footprint, a low maintenance, and even the spent wear parts that we have are 100% recyclable. The output of that is usually a steel, right, from inside the battery part, the plastic and brass, so the paper like around that shows the brand and the name, right, all the good marketing, and then the zinc manganese concentrate. This zinc manganese concentrate is then used as a micronutrient for us into fertilizer. And then we use that with this wonderful team called through AMP is their name. And then AMP adds in their proprietary mix using this micronutrient coming from your household batteries. And you are then now increasing the micronutrients in the corn and soybean crops that are happening within the US. And now that is helping zinc deficiency that is occurring when people eat that material. And it's just a fascinating circular economy where you're able to take something from manufacturing and put it into agriculture. And now the used alkaline battery you have is helping someone in their diet. Batteries have this wonderful and magical approach that we don't even think about, right, when it comes to supporting a circular economy approach. So think about helping increasing those recycling rates. And, you know, again, you can add value to your company while building partnerships and delivering value, right? This is value, value, value for win, win, win. And you can do that by supporting and working with teams through regulatory compliance for the batteries that you're dealing with, handling the damaged batteries that you have properly and offering to help support that, packaging solutions, right, and collection solutions, working with battery-centric logistic teams, you know, thinking about how that hazardous waste classification, right, of batteries needs to be different, process and development training, employee battery collection that you can start reporting on and or start doing to help your ESG commitment. And, you know, think about the content creation, right? Maybe it's, you know, thinking about the electric vehicle decision tree if you're in that, you know, if you're trying to collect those. Think about the training videos that we can help or your other recycling partners provide and then help your customers. Think about the school programs. So we do programs with all of our schools in our areas and leadership groups to help expand education. And we're here to help you support that. So I hope that you found this beneficial. I know we're about at time, but you know, I'm just going to say, you know, when we work together, it's about reaching those sustainability goals. So Steve, I'm sorry, I was trying to cut myself short. I said everyone I would give them a few minutes of time back. So
that's all right. Three things. One, that was fantastic. And thankfully, this is being recorded because there was a lot of great information to unpack in there. Second, you introduced me to a new word. I now know what HasWhopper is. That's just about the coolest thing I've ever.
Great.
And then the third bit is, you know, for me personally, and I hope for all our Terra members, is this is why this organization exists. I mean, every month we have these webinars. I mean, typically we have our allied members that do them, those that provide you guys these products and services. But when one of our certified recycler members gets to do one, it's something special. And, you know, it emphasizes the three areas that this organization was created to do. One, you know, put out there the reason why certification matters. I mean, you demonstrated this presentation why certification matters, why you deal with somebody who's got an R2 certification or an E-Steward certification. You guys know this business inside and out, and you can be partners with our other members. Two, you know, it's building that collaboration with our other members. I know there are folks out there that are part of membership that have issues with batteries, and here you are, you know, available to, you know, kind of help them not only satisfy their current demands, but help them even potentially grow their business. And the third part is, you know, just getting out their best practices. As a fellow marketer, you know, I can really appreciate and I love what you guys are doing with your partnership program and your mail-in program. So many of our members just deal with the back end that, you know, they're working out of, you know, but they're doing pickups out of the warehouse. But to actually get to the front of the house where you're talking with the marketing people, the sustainability with people within the organization, public relations teams, and they're getting the fact that, hey, you know what, back there, we're spending a good bit of money and investing a lot of our resources into sustainable best practices. We ought to be talking about that. And that's what helps, amplify the message of what we're trying to do here. And also it educates the business community, it educates consumers, educates those employees that are there. And for those people that are looking for a quick fix to get in front of their customers a little bit more aggressively and show their value to beyond the back of the docks, get involved in your battery recycling program. It's just an easy way to do that, and co-brand with it, and find a way to get more sticky with your current customers.
Love that word, sticky. Love that word.
So I just had just one question, on the technical side of things, which was something that comes up often from the membership, which is about high wattage and large batteries. What can they do with that to make sure that they're not getting in trouble?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something we deal with often on pretty much a daily basis. So when we're thinking about high wattage and large format, the first thing is about, you can provide a solution to your customer, right? So first, don't feel like you need to say no right away, right? When you're working with partners like us or other ones in the industry, we're here to provide the solutions for you. So when it comes to that, though, because they're high wattage, they're more than likely going to have to do something that is fully regulated. But you can work with the teams to either, if you don't want to accept it at your facility, then you can have your battery recycling partner actually go ahead, schedule everything, and there might be special equipment needed, right? We do this all the time. We're actually creating materials that you then go in to actually lift out these large format batteries with. And from retrofitting crane hooks to the ability to create specialized boxes, right, just to be able to get them out of their locations, because half of that is the key. I mean, we have used Clydesdale horses to get to places that we could not get to, right, by a regular car or a truck. So, we'll go the extra mile. But the other thing to think about is that with those high wattage is that always, always, always consider it to be fully charged, right, at any point. So make sure that no matter what you do, and that's what we do here with all of our safety needs to be at the forefront of what we do. And that means that even if you think it's the end of life, even if it's been in service for 10 years, consider it, right, fully charged. So it'll be fully regulated. You'll want to work with the battery-centric logistics team, because being able to ship that back, especially from the weight perspective, you want them to be able to handle that properly. And then it's going to have to be disassembled more than likely if it's that large of a format before it goes into processing. So, we're happy if there's anyone with questions on that, more details. You can always email me. My information's in the Terra group or at batterysolutions.com. But we'll be happy to work with any team member that has details on a specific project that they need help with.
All right. Well, thank you, Danielle. Again, very much appreciated. This has been recorded. We're going to be sending it out to all those that couldn't attend, and then it'll be available on our GoToWebinar channels for everyone to download and look at later, which is actually, I just took a brief moment to pause and check the analytics on that and see that has gone crazy in the last couple of it looks like more people are watching it later than actually attending. But anyway, they can get this information, it'd be great. So again, look for that in the next hour or so, that we'll be sending out the video link for everyone to look at, and we'll see everybody again next month, the third Thursday, which is October the 14th. Until then, take care, everybody.
Thank you.